So many people said no to me. So many people said, no one even knows who you are. Why is your brand your name? You're just a makeup artist. Why do you think people will buy your products versus the Estee Lauders of the world? Who do you think you are?
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to nriwoman. I'm Bettina, and together with my co-host Minora, we are absolutely delighted to have Natasha Moor in the studio with us today. Natasha is a world-renowned makeup artist with over a decade's experience in the beauty industry. But she is so much more than that. Natasha is the visionary founder and CEO behind Natasha Moor Cosmetics, a brand that's shaking up the makeup world with its transformative philosophy. She's also a philanthropist and a change maker. Natasha, it is such an honor to have you with us today. We can't wait to dive into your incredible journey and hear how you're using makeup as a vehicle for self-expression and confidence. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much. First of all, I have to say your voice is so beautiful. I want you to repeat that intro again. Really beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me. I'm very excited to be here.
Oh, it's our pleasure. So, Natasha, maybe perhaps your professional experience has been for like a decade, a little over a decade, but we know that your passion for makeup has started long back. When you were like, I think your first story of it is when you were 7 years old and you were, stole your mom's makeup, teachers in
That's
school.
a typical story. Mine goes way beyond. So I actually started when I was really, really young, and I would go into I was in primary school, and as a little girl, I was like a 5-year-old girl, 4-year-old girl. I would go into like even kindergarten. I remember all my teachers would just love me braiding their hair. So it started with just the idea of, it's normally reverse, like the moms always do the kids' hair and makeup. But for me, I was always like, oh, let me do your hair and makeup. And I realized that it was constantly something I would do. And I guess the impact was always just because I wanted people to have that same feeling that you feel when you feel good.
So not many people are fortunate enough to have careers that align with their passion, right? So how did you manage to achieve that? Your passion along with making your passion your profession.
So actually, I have my father and my mother to thank for that very, very majorly, because I started my career as, I don't know if you know this, but I started my career as a PR and marketing consultant initially. I studied PR and marketing, and then I ended up building a whole PR company for my boss and running the whole show. So just before I got into artistry, makeup artistry, I was doing PR. And so that was truly my passion at the time too, because my father was like, he was not the typical that was like, oh, go be a doctor, go be, he was very much like, follow your passion and do what you love, because that's what he did. So I think, following in his footsteps and doing what was good for my soul was always a priority for me. To the point where I didn't want to do makeup because I was like, it's just a hobby. I'm not going to make money out of it. And I remember telling my father this, and my dad was like, no, Natasha, if you work hard and you love what you do, it's never going to be work. So do it. If you wanted to be a makeup artist, go ahead and do it, but do it with all your heart. Don't do it half.
So starting sort of a cosmetic company would have been a major leap of faith for you, right? Especially if makeup artistry is one of those professions where one is self-reliant for one's success. One can work truly hard, make a name for themselves, establish themselves, and you know that you can be successful. But setting up a business is a completely different ballgame, especially because you have so many moving parts in it. And success in a business depends in equal measure with everybody else that's involved in it. Even if, you as the owner put in your 100% and the others don't pull in their weight, it's never going to work out. So, what made you decide to actually take that risk and set up a cosmetic company, continuing your makeup artistry profession, which was self-reliant?
I think for this answer, I have to go back on the subject of passion, because I started this brand purely from a problem solving aspect. I was a makeup artist. I was traveling internationally doing brides, NRI brides, all over the world. I was in Mexico one day, I was in Canada the next day, I was in Bali the next day, and I was literally living out of a suitcase. And it was crazy. But the reason why I did that was not just because, yes, it was great, and I was able to build a name for myself in that space, and I was able to create a living for myself. It was because I found there was a huge gap in the market for people like me, people like us, who, we're all different skin tones here. And so I had brides that were, how brown is every shade of brown. It's not just one shade. And I think in the industry, there was such a huge gap for products that lasted long, felt good, and catered to our skin tones. And so for me, it was more like passion and a need, because I thought, okay, look, I'm doing everyone's makeup, and the impact that I'm giving to them, the way that I'm making them feel, the power that I'm making them feel, I want them to feel this on their own. And so that's why I was like, they need to go home with a product that can make them feel like my makeup artist didn't mix 50 different shades to get it to me. I need to be able to put it on myself and feel really powerful. And so that's when I was like, I have to push forward. I have to launch a brand. And I did feel also, I started formulating the products 7 years ago. And with every entrepreneurship journey, it's always an up and down road. And I'm very open about it. More so in the recent years, because I've been a little bit fearful of how people will perceive my honesty and vulnerability. But I think for me, starting the brand was purely it came from my heart. It came from a lack of products in the market.
So how did you break through? There's so many different shades of brown and all of that. So how did you get your foot into the door?
So when I started formulating the brand about 7 years ago, right? 6, 7 years ago, there was no molten mattes. There were no comfortable lipsticks in the market. All our products have a mirror on it. Use it. It's actually super convenient. They're functional, but they're intentional as well. So I feel like to really get to this question, I have to walk you through my whole story, which I would love to do. But I'll try and do it short form for you. But so when I was developing the products, when I was working on all these brides, I started developing the products on the side. And I was married at a very young age. I was married, well, not very young, at 25, which is typical for your typical Indian, and got married young. I actually got divorced at 27. And the reason why this is so important in my journey, and the reason why I talk about this, is because it was the most empowering thing for me, because I didn't think I could succeed or grow. And as I was traveling and working on all these brides, I would just hear positive feedback from all my clients, but negative feedback from my community for being the girl that is taking risks and traveling the world. And how can I do this and leave my husband at home? And for me, it like really struck a fire in me to create a brand that was more than makeup. No pun intended. Pun intended. But it was really just creating amazing products that were comfortable to use. But my core ethos, like where it really came from, was I went through severe depression. And I'm very public about it now. I went through severe depression, not because of the divorce, but because of the way people reacted to me getting a divorce at that young age. And so I actually went to Los Angeles. I came to Los Angeles, and I didn't know anyone, didn't know what I was doing. And I worked with victims of human trafficking and women's shelters and drug and rehab centers. I literally went to Compton to drug and rehab centers to do their makeup, to give them the same impact that my clients who were paying me so much money and flying me all over the world would do. And I was thinking, obviously I went in selfishly thinking I want to do this for myself because I want to feel good. Philanthropy, sometimes it starts from that. It starts from just wanting to make yourself feel good. And that's truly what it was. I'll be real. And when I went, it was amazing. I went with this concept where I was like, oh, I'm going to make every single woman feel amazing. And I'm going to inspire them. I'm going to empower them. They're going to feel so good. But honestly, when I came out of that, I was the one that felt empowered and inspired and like completely transformed, because I realized the impact of makeup. And I realized that it wasn't just about transforming your face, but it was about transforming your inside and feeling good. And I don't know if you feel like this or you can resonate, but every time I did someone's makeup, every time, And this is like without a doubt, like there's never been once that this didn't happen. The father of the bride or the fiance or husband of the bride or the mom, they'd be like, wow, she looks so beautiful, but like, she's so nice. What did you do? And I realized that whenever I did someone's makeup, because they felt so good about themselves, they were nice to everyone around them. And I thought if I could bring confidence to someone and then inspire kindness, I have what I want to do in life because that's my purpose in life. So that's why I created the brand.
Yes. That is such an amazing story, truly is. And you're absolutely right. You know, often we start helping out others to feel good because then that's what we do. But and I think Nino and I will share this thing. Like when we started off NRI Woman, also it was to share stories of other people and give them a platform. But really, what has happened is we have grown as
Right?
as
Yeah.
as people, and you know, really how we function in the world today is completely different because of how our perspective has changed, you know, because of the
Yes,
interactions we've had.
it's because you've given back so much. And so you know the power that you have. And so peaceful. It's peace. That's what it is. It's peaceful with yourself also.
So anyway, but you have a you know, a strong social media presence. You're also, you know, in a lot of your content, and you are running your business full time.
Yeah.
How are you doing all? Because to me, those seem like 3 full-time jobs. So,
I'm about to shock you right now. I have 2 other businesses.
Oh, God.
No,
You see the eyes rolling. I'm kidding.
I
Okay.
know. But also, yes, I get it. It's a lot of work. It's so many up. It's like a roller coaster journey. One day I'm smiling, one day I'm crying. But it's also, again, I think it all just comes from my love for what I do. It's like when I'm able to be in the zone, when I'm speaking on a podcast, when I'm talking about my journey, when I'm talking about the actual product and the way that it impacts someone and makes them feel, all the shade names are affirmations. So it would, yeah, the game changer, hustler, drive, CEO, and also these came about because of these women's shelter experiences. I had samples. I remember I didn't have enough money to launch my brand. I saved all this money to launch it, and something happened, and it got taken away from me. And it was such a heartbreaking moment for me because I was like, man, like I just worked so hard. I've been working on all these brides, and no one will ever imagine in their heads, I'm this rich little young girl traveling around the world first class. Yeah, it was amazing. But it was also, I was saving money to make this brand happen. And so I was in such a bad place that when I developed the products, I wanted something to pull me out of the hole that I was in, and I had to work really, really hard to get that money back, right? To like get I don't even know how many brides I was doing at one point. And basically with the launch of the brand, when it finally happened, gave a promise to myself and I was like, there's no way I'm going to fail. And since then I have failed so much, but fail to me has really changed as a word. It's not, I know we hear this a lot, but it's really all the lessons that has shaped you to become the person that you are today. But more importantly, it's roads that have been blocked so that you don't get affected by them. And you know that it's paved a different way or a different path for you for the better. And I truly believe that. Another example of this is, it's an interesting example. So when I was getting married, I on my the day of my wedding, I had so many weird things happen to me. Like I suddenly got an allergy from my mehndi and it went on my face. My makeup artist was delayed. My makeup artist, as soon as I sat in the chair, said to me, um, oh my God, what a shame you look like this today. Every other day you look good. And I was like, it really hurt me. So like, and he's such a sweetheart. He didn't mean to do it, but like all these things happened. It was not a fun day for me. You know, my wedding was fun, but that day was not memorable to me in any way where it was positive. And the reason I tell you this story is because every time I had a bride, I would tell them, I think this happened to me so that I can ensure that you're comfortable and confident and feeling the best. And so my failure at that point brought me to be able to be more empathetic towards the bride. I would never say anything like that now because I know, I mean, I would never anyway. It's just, it reminds you of how to treat someone and how vulnerable they can feel. So same thing with business. Anytime something happens, I'm like, okay, 5,000 pieces got ruined. It's because now maybe I'm able to help other people avoid these issues because I know what not to do or what to do.
In the beauty industry, there's a ongoing conversation about inclusivity and representation and redefining, beauty standards. As someone who is vested in it and also, influences it, what are some of the areas you think that can be improved upon? Where are the gaps you find?
Actually, this is a great question because I think a lot of people talk about things for the trend's sake of talking about it, and not to say anything negative to anyone who is talking about who is I guess passionate about this space, brands, influencers, whatever it may be. For me, it's always been a part of my being. Like I have touched so many different skin tones and types and textures. As a makeup artist, like I said from the beginning, brown isn't just one shade. It's so many different shades, but also I'm born and brought up in Hong Kong. I am not your typical brown girl. And I didn't find that I didn't feel like there was anyone like me as well that was being represented as a brown girl. There's one typical look that everyone, especially in the US, represents as your brown girl, but there's so many people like me. There's so many Southeast Asian skin tones that I worked with, so I was able to develop products that really worked on every different type. There are yellow undertones, the pink undertones. There's so much more to it than just creating a brand with a message like that and not actually being able to work. So I guess the benefit for me was being able to experiment and having almost like case studies of women all around the world that I worked with and did their makeup. So there's what the lack of it is that it's too pigeonholed. It's like if you're brown, you're only this brown. If you're black, you're only this black. If you're white, you're only this white. And I feel like there's so many areas to explore and appreciate different types of skin without just pigeonholing it, if that makes sense.
On that note, you're absolutely right. But I do feel that there's one thing that we are still backward in a lot of way, and that is the color. That is the notion that some girls go through, right? Or the notion that their moms have, that they're too dark,
Yeah.
or they're too fat, or they're too skinny, or they're too dull, right? We still have that in India. Let's admit it. So
Yeah. It's not just in India, but yeah,
but
yeah.
yeah, but
Indians.
we have the whitening cream and all of that fun stuff, right?
Yes.
So many girls, so many women, so many girls are struggling with that, right? A lot of people are struggling with self-confidence, body image. What message would you share about, cultivating self-love, appreciating your body, your uniqueness? What would you tell the girls?
This is such a hard topic for me because all those things have been said to me a lot. You're fat, you're thin. It's actually very Asian culture. Even when I was in Bangkok, I have had, and I've come out about this, I've had major eating disorders. I was anorexic, I was bulimic. Yeah, I've suffered from all these things, and it all stems down to my upbringing and our culture. Our culture, even in Hong Kong, the Indians, the Chinese, everyone, their focus is on how skinny you are or how light your skin is. Or, oh my God, you're so pretty because you're light skinned. My grandma, every time I would come back, and I would have a tan and I would go to the Philippines, she'd be like, what happened? Like she would cry. I'm like, Nani, I have a tan. What's wrong with you? This is cool. She'd be like, no. She would literally bleach me. And I was like, oh, like, understand completely. And so I think that's why I resonate so much with this. And I will say, actually, I agree that it still happens so much. It's getting better. It's getting better. That's, the way that things are working in the US where people are getting more comfortable with themselves and talking about it and being more body comfortable, showing more self-love and prioritizing more self-love. I feel like it's kind of now making an impact in the rest of the world. So for me, I went into having to manifest. And, I, after my divorce and then getting dumped and cheated on, like there were so many scenarios in my life where I have been not a victim, but affected by what's around me, and what it did was it brought my confidence so low. And most people don't believe that. They're like, she's just saying she was insecure. I was so insecure. I still am, but I'm getting so much better. And for me, for the reason why I got better was honestly because of my brand, because I'm like telling people, you got to feel good. I'm empowering people. And besides connecting people, another superpower that someone told me 2 days ago of mine was actually empowering people and making them understand their true power and kind of inspiring that, igniting the fire in them. And when I listened to that, I was like, wow, am I really able to do that? I knew that with the makeup, but with energy, am I really able to do that with just my energy? And I started to notice that and realize that it was super magnetic, but that was only because I'm more comfortable with myself. I'm confident with my intentions. So how I really dealt with all my insecurities, honestly, was I looked at myself. There are days where I'm like, oh, so fat. What are you doing? And it's normal. I think just understanding that messaging and that feeling is going to be there, but learning how you can fix that attitude within yourself. So for me, there's many different ways that I do that. But that attitude has to also come from knowing that your intention for everyone around you is pure. And so this is another thing. When I would walk into a room, I'd always think, so honestly, in such a vain way, I'd be like, oh my God, they probably think I'm fat. Oh my God, they probably think I'm thin. But it's because I've been conditioned growing up in that Asian culture. But I thought about it. I tried to tweak it in my head, and I started to tell myself, no, what if they're just saying you're amazing, you're powerful, you're cool, you're, all the things that I want people to hear. And I start trying to listen to those voices and almost manifesting it, but hearing other people say those things about me. And I started doing this, and me and my friend, Raven, she's a huge, one of the top models in Hong Kong, superstar sensations. Both of us have started doing this, and we're seeing a huge impact in our lives, really positive impacts, because it's giving me that confidence. And I'm seeing it. I'm like, actually, dude, people are too busy.
Natasha, if you could like wave a magic wand, what positive change would you want to see in how society views and values female beauty, both inner and outer?
Wow. Honestly, it goes down to this same thing, that confidence doesn't mean being, can I say the word bitchy? I said this once recently in on a panel, and it's confidence and boss babe does not mean being bitchy. In beauty, especially, confidence should be about being kind and uplifting people around you. Again, feeling good, wearing makeup should only make you want to do good for other people. It should only want to make you do more, right? That's why my initiative is called Do More. You have to feel that. If I had a magic wand, I would make everyone, it sounds like a Miss World pageant or whatever, but really, Miss Universe, I think. Yeah. I want people to feel really good, and only so that they can, well, not only, but primarily so that they can also impact people around them.
So, Natasha, what would you say to, other sort of female entrepreneurs? Actually, never mind female, just other entrepreneurs who have, we live in a world where there is so much insecurity. There is comparison. So I think it doesn't matter where everybody's starting, whether they're a man or woman. What would you say to them if they want to get off to this entrepreneurial journey and start off with something on their own?
Beautiful question, and a very simple, straightforward answer from my end is just go for it. Just do it. Trust your gut. There's no right time. You can plan and you can try and figure everything out. Of course, have a business plan, but do it. If you feel like this is something you're truly passionate about, so many people said no to me. So many people said, no one even knows who you are. Why is your brand your name? You're just a makeup artist. Why do you think people will buy your products versus the Estee Lauders of the world? Who do you think you are? And I was like, I have so much more to give and I'm going to do it. And no matter how much people bring you down, ignore the noise and just push forward. That's all. That's like the only thing I can keep saying. And it's the thing I tell myself all the time, even when I'm comparing myself, even when I'm having a challenge that I don't see myself coming out of, even when I don't see myself coming out of a really difficult situation, I will tell myself, keep going. You got this. You got this. You got this.
So on looking ahead with your what are your future goals? Like what are or milestones that you're most excited for yourself, for your brand? How do you see the future?
I think the most honest way to answer this is yes, as not a little girl, but as when I first started the brand, my goal was to be in the biggest retailers. I want to be Sephora, I want to be here, I want to be there, I want to be everywhere. I think now it boils down to the most honest answer. I want to be able to sell my products to people who need this confidence boost, but also so that I can be able to build this business so much. That's my honest answer. I want to be able to actually grow. I want to be able to make money. I want to be a money maker so that I can impact other people, because COVID didn't allow me to go to these women's shelters and drug and rehab centers. And you know what? It took a big pause on my business, on me. And how can I focus on doing charity work for other people when I can't even lift myself up? So in order for my heart to feel happy, I need my brand to succeed. And so I feel like that's what I want. I don't care where the products are. I just want people to receive it, love it, feel it, and keep buying it. That's the most honest answer I can give. For every entrepreneur, I think we secretly just want our brand to do really well.
Nice. On that note, Natasha, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your inspiring story and insights, and for the laughs, from experimenting with, makeup as a very, very young girl at the age of 4 to becoming
Yes.
a renowned artist and to launching your own transformative beauty brand. Your journey truly personifies the power of pursuing your passions. It truly does. We appreciate you using your platform to empower women to celebrate their uniqueness and reminding all of us of our individual powers and our worth. You are a true force, and we can't wait to see what uplifting paths you forge next. Both
Thank you.
Bettina and I would like to thank you, our listeners, for joining us today, and we hope you'll join us again for our episode next week. We can be found at www.nriwoman.com or wherever you listen to our podcast. Just look for NRI Woman. If you or someone you know has a story to share, please get in touch with us at hello@nriwoman.com or tweet us at NRI_woman. You can also follow us on Instagram and Facebook at NRI Woman Podcast. Please help us spread the stories of these amazing women by sharing it with your friends and family. You can find the details to connect with the guests in our show notes. Our Women episodes come out every Thursday, so make sure you subscribe. Until next time, keep learning, keep inspiring, and always be kind.